Hey everyone, welcome. We're sitting here in the mayor's office. I'm Mayor Mike, and with me are Tiffani and Michelle. They run, well, you guys got your fingers in all sorts of things, but primarily over the winter months, you work with the Warming Center. It was your idea. This was all you, Tiffani. Tell me about the Warming Center, what you do, how you help people.
Well, the point of the warming center was to keep people inside during the winter time. We open in November and we stay through the end of March, sometimes till April, depending on the weather. We'll open early too if need be. If it's in our budget, we can do it. Our intentions is to keep everyone that is needing somewhere to sleep at night indoors and a safe place for people to be.
Well, and you guys, provide a tremendous service. Does it help everyone? No. I don't think there's anything that's practical that can solve all of the problems, but every little piece helps. And you know this because not only do you do the Warming Center, but you working with Evergreen Community Initiatives, you have the closet, you have the Thursday meals. Tell me a little bit about some of those other things that you are involved in helping that unsheltered population.
Yeah, it's all actually intertwined. Our kids' closet isn't just for children. We also help adults there,
Okay.
and that's been an increasing need that we've seen in the last year.
What does that involve? Tell me what the closet is.
So we're open twice a week, and you come in, and if you need clothing or whatever, if we have it, you can have it. We do limit the clothing that people can take in a month. However, there's a lot of other items that people can just take. We have a hygiene pantry there as well, cleaning products, like the whole 9 yards. So when someone gets housed, we are able to help with clothing, we're help with bedding, we're able to help with hygiene products and cleaning products. We're able to get people more secure into their new place.
That's awesome. How does the kids' closet resupply?
We're totally by the community.
Yeah.
Stevens Point donates and donates and donates. We empty our large donation shed about 3 times a day. It's only open Sundays in the noon until Thursdays at 6, but with this cold weather, we're shutting down so my volunteers don't have to go out.
That makes sense. So I got to imagine there's at least some standards when people are donating clothes. You don't want my old ripped up T-shirts.
No, we do not, because
what sort of things could people donate?
yeah, so we take obviously kids' clothing, and we try to focus on anything a teen would wear for adult sizes.
Okay.
But we do take men's, and then we also take bedding. We take towels. That's very important for us to have for families because it's a luxury. It's not something common for everyone.
For some, yeah.
Yeah. So just the basic necessities for survival as well for the homeless. We do collect there.
Okay.
And so all of our homeless that come through our shelter, and even those that don't come through our shelter, can come and get fresh supplies.
That's awesome. And where is this donation drop off?
It's at Holy Spirit Parish. It's right across the street from St. Michael's Hospital. You can see it right from the parking lot at St. Michael's.
Okay. And let's say I have a question. Let's say I've got some old boots and shoes that I don't wear anymore, and I want to know if these are things that you could use.
Yeah, if there's life in them, we will definitely put them on someone else's feet and make use of them.
Okay, great. How about the meals?
Our meals are at 5 o'clock every Thursday. We've been doing this for 13 years, but this has been going on, 15 years. Wow, time's gone by. 15 years.
15 years.
But this has gone on for over 25 years in our community. The Place of Peace has, so
That's
it's pretty
awesome.
cool.
Where's the meal?
It's at Holy Spirit Parish.
Okay.
5 o'clock.
And how do people participate in that? Let's say I want to help.
You can go onto our website, wisconsineci.org, and reach out there. You can reach out to me via Facebook, or, there's plenty of ways to contact us to get involved.
Great. Yeah, wisconsineci.org is the website,
Correct.
you said. Okay.
Yep.
So who pays for the meals? Who does the cooking?
So the meals, that just is provided by whoever is the group that's serving. So they not only come in and help provide the meal, they also serve it, and then they help a little bit with cleanup afterwards as well.
When you say the group, what does that mean? Is it only eligible groups that can do this?
All sorts of, there's neighborhood groups that come in. Like one person just gets their whole neighbors involved. We have church groups, we have youth groups, it's just, it's crazy. We've been booked a year to a year and a half in advance. People are trying to get in to serve the meal. Unfortunately, it's covered, which is a crazy
that's a tough problem to have, right?
Hannah's Foundation, actually, the girl who schedules them, she said, I have an opening. We have one for 2025, but for the foundation, but I was like, how about 2026? Can we put it on the books? And she's like, I'm booked out. Well, last week she actually had a cancellation. She's like, Michelle, do you want it for the foundation for 2026? And I'm like, put me on it. So this is,
Nice.
this is 2 full years ahead of time, and it's for November, so it's like trying to be like, okay, 2026, but it's a good thing to have. It's a great thing to have. It's a great problem to have.
And thanks for joining us, Michelle, too. Boy, if you guys don't know Michelle, you're probably living under a rock. She's involved in everything, too, and has been for years. The Warming Center. Now, I worked with Tiffani when you first created this warming center. You had limited resources, a small area, and since then it's grown, and you have every single year had more need than you have resources.
Yes.
It sucks that happens, but it's a finite amount of resources. Michelle, you're heavily involved in the Warming Center. Tell me a little bit about what goes on a typical day in the Warming Center.
This is my first year, actually. Tiffani asked me last year. Tiffani knew that Hannah was involved in the Warming Center, Winona, and she reached out and said, do you want to help? And we mutually talked, and I initially said yes, and then just the initial was like, okay, maybe not. This year I reached out and I said, is the offer still available? She goes, I knew you'd come back. I knew you'd recircle. And I said, I want to do it. I do intake, and then I coordinate volunteers to come in, and our shelter runs on 6 employees.
Yeah,
Six or seven paid employees. Okay. I am included in that staff. We work intake, so we bring the guest in. That's a couple hour shift a night. We bring the guest in. We register them. We get their information. We show them the shelter. We tell them what resources we have. They're scared. Some of them are scared. Some of them maybe just transitioned here. Excuse me. Some of them might have been here, but now they don't have a place to stay. They need to come here. They heard this was a resource. I'm scared. What do I do? We bring them in. We're their home. I mean, this is their home. They have nowhere. We show them what we do. A typical night, they can register between 8:15 and 8:30. Or I'm sorry, they can be on premises at 8:15. Registration is from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, the lights are. We don't take any more registration. They're only allowed in with a police escort. Whether they come to the shelter and we ask, what's the issue. We call the police and say, we just need to vouch for you to, allow us to let them in. Or the police have called us, dispatch has called us and said, hey, we have somebody that we found on the streets. They're fine, this, that. They don't know where the options are, but they're going to be on the streets tonight, and we think the warming center would be a good place for them. Do you have room? And we say yes. Sometimes we've had issues where we have to be like, I'm sorry. It's like anywhere, you get chances. Everybody gets chances. You have to give people chances, a given. But sometimes people overexert those chances, and it's a safety thing for us as staff, as well as for other guests in the house, as well as for the church itself. The church is giving us an amazing place to house people out of their own kindness of their heart, all the church members, and we have to abide by the church's expectations of us to, use that space. So we may have to be like, I'm sorry, you cannot stay here any longer because you can't abide by, the rules that we,
there should be standard rules for behavior.
And they're not very, they're not textbook rules. They're just simple, follow this. We do have we developed a chore system where, this is what, in the morning, you have to sweep in the morning, their cots have to be made, stuff like that. And if they're not, then, things happen. I mean, people come in there through the church throughout the day. We don't know, Tiffani doesn't know that. She doesn't, sometimes it's their church. They're allowed to. And if, they walk in and, beds aren't made, what is that going to, that's not going to show respect to the church for our appreciation for them allowing us to be there.
Yeah. And so, how many people on a given night? I know it varies, but how many people do you have in the shelter on any given night?
So we opened up on November 1st, and we can only shelter a max of 20.
Okay,
We've
20 per night.
Yeah, only one night so far we have had to say 21. It was too much. We had to turn, but it was a warm night, so we were like, thank you.
Yeah.
We've sheltered about 70 people since November 1st, with only 20 beds.
And that's shocking.
That's a lot of people in and out.
That's way too many people
Yes,
to be sleeping out on the streets.
Yes.
And there's some that we know that are still sleeping in the streets that have not shown up yet.
Yeah. We have a fair amount of resources. It's never enough. But there's multiple groups. You are one, well, you actually are several pieces of the puzzle. But there's other groups out there that help in other ways too. Monroe House is one of those. One Big Tent helps. The Franciscans, of course. And we have a dedicated community resource officer, Mike Radsick, who I know you guys work very closely with.
Yeah.
All trying to find solutions for those individuals that we can help.
Yeah.
We had that one not too long ago where we did a little bit of a community fundraiser, and the response was tremendous. So not only were we able to help that gentleman remain housed,
Right.
but there's a little bit of money in there now where we can help some of the others at the discretion of that community resource officer, or the mental health officer, Mike Radsick.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tiffani, how can people help with the warming center? What needs do you have? And that might give some people ideas on how they can help.
Yeah, so one of our biggest advocation spaces is on Facebook. It's called Helping Hands Stevens Point.
Okay.
I usually use that to advocate for most all of our needs, and that's when our supply needs are met. Whenever I put an Amazon wish list, it gets grabbed up right away. I have over 4,000 people on that page from
Nice.
Stevens Point that try to help our community. One of the biggest missing pieces that we're having this year is funding.
Okay.
We only brought in about half of the funding that we need to operate the shelter. Some of the grants we used to have in Stevens Point are no longer available like they were.
Okay.
So that's definitely something that we're a little nervous about moving forward in continuing our mission in this community. But we're secure for this year for
Okay.
sure.
So funding, you mentioned a couple of different sources. You get some grants. Where does your funding come from?
The community, Stevens
Yeah.
Point. I get people writing in $100 checks every month. I have some people depositing $25 on our website every month.
Okay.
There's a few sponsors that'll throw $1,000, $500. I mean, this is Stevens Point. This
Everything
is
helps.
Stevens Point.
If someone wants to help in that regard,
Yes.
how can they do that?
You can do it on our website, wisconsineci.org, and then you can also send it in to ECI at Holy Spirit Parish. It's 2151 Stanley Street in Stevens Point.
Okay. And I know that for most people it won't matter, but you are 501c3,
Yes,
so it could be a tax deductible
It
donation. Check with
definitely-
your accountants.
it definitely is.
But that's just I don't think anybody does it for the tax deduction. They do it because they want to help. But it helps. It's within something that you might be able to
Right.
use.
Right.
And what time do you close the shelter in the morning?
6:30 in the morning.
And what happens to those people at 6:30 in the morning?
That's the hard part. There's nothing open until 9, so we try to collect a lot of hand warmers, a lot of toe warmers, emergency blankets, thick socks, like all those warm winter items until the library opens at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so you're talking about the Portage County Public Library downtown.
Correct.
We also have the Franciscans
Yeah.
downtown, but they're not open
During the
regular hours
weekends.
either.
Right, they're only open 3 hours during the weekdays.
Yeah,
each day.
so especially at this time of the year, it gets pretty challenging. Summer's not as bad,
Right.
but still, when it's raining or it's excessively hot, those create challenges. So if anybody has any ideas on where else that we could do a shelter area, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, especially like on Saturdays and Sundays when the library
Sundays are
is not
hard. When
open.
they come in, when the guests come in on Sunday night, you can feel a vibe because it's different than Monday through Saturday because Sunday nothing's open. The library's not open. Franciscans isn't open. They can't go, they can't walk around as they would somewhere else because nothing's open. So they're in the elements. They're outside. They're hanging out together. You can tell they're ready to come in, get warm, and go to bed. Sunday is the day they're ready to come in. They're ready to come in and go to bed every day. I should clarify that. But Sunday they're ready they're wore because they've been outside in the elements all day.
That's pretty tough. Volunteers. If
Yes.
someone wants to volunteer to help out with the warming center,
Yes.
what are the requirements?
There are none other than you need to be 18.
Okay.
You just gotta get in touch with me or my husband. On the website, there's a phone number, and we will get you connected.
And what is a typical shift?
So the evening shift is just assisting my staff. Someone
What
might.
times?
Oh, sorry. 8:15.
8:15 to 10, 8:15 to 11.
Midnight, or
Okay.
midnight.
Yep, or midnight.
Those are the
Okay.
three first
And
shifts.
then who staffs it between midnight and 6:30?
My staff.
Okay.
my paid staff. And then in the mornings, we have a morning shift as well that
Okay.
we have people come in and help. It's like 5:30 to 6:30.
Yep.
Okay. And one more time, if someone wants to get involved, you have a website?
Yep, it's wisconsineci.org.
Okay.
And the phone
Yeah.
number and all emails, everything's there.
And everything's there from the kids' closet to the meals to the
Yep.
warming center, all of the things that you guys have your fingers in.
Yep.
Just a fun fact.
Uh-huh.
If all of our 20 guests would get a pair of hand warmers and foot warmers for a week, that's over 700
Yeah.
in
one
one week for our 20 residents.
And you're
that
talking
have
about
for
the
7
chemical
days.
shake
The chemical
Yeah.
shake ones, because
They're
I mean,
lifesavers.
everybody's like, how many do they, I'm like, if you average 20 guests and X amount, that's 700. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's only 1 week for us to give them when they walk out. And so imagine having just one of each for all day.
Wow.
So that's quite a bit. So we do go through quite a bit of hand warmers. We've
Yeah.
already gone through quite a bit of hand warmers. So that's a really high
Yeah.
profile thing.
Well, I can tell you, I think I speak on behalf of the whole community when I say thank you very much for everything you and your staff and your team and the volunteers and the donors do. I know there's always people out there that say, we can do more. Why aren't they doing more? We should do more. You should do more. Someone should do more. And I'm going to tell you, here's your chance. If you think there's more to do and you want to help, let's do more. Volunteer, donate, stop by and say hi. That's your opportunity to help us do more. So thank you both very much for joining me. And if anybody has questions, is there a phone number they could call?
715-252-7860.
Excellent.
For more information about the Warming House, visit wisconsineci.org or call 715-252-7860. Or visit Helping Hands Stevens Point on Facebook to find out how you can help the Warming House meet their current needs. Talking Point is produced by Mayor Mike Wiza and Stevens Point Community Media.